creation story. Now brace yourself. No one knows why these letters are there. It would be like if I were writing this in English. Okay, I'm going to write this in English. In the beginning, God, A-Z, the heavens and the earth. Because A is the first letter and Z is the last letter of our alphabet, right? What is this here for? None of the rabbis have ever explained it. None. It's always been in the copies of our books of Genesis. No one knows why, but they faithfully copied these two letters, the Aleph and Tav, since the beginning. Now, this is not official Catholic doctrine. This is Chip, the private theologian, speaking at this point. I think this is Jesus. Why? Because Revelation chapter 1, verse 8. The vision of Jesus to John on the island of Patmos, he says, verse 8, I am the Alpha and the Omega. What is Alpha and Omega? Well, what is Alpha? First letter of the Greek alphabet. What's the Omega? Last letter. If we were to translate this into English, Jesus would be saying, I am the A and the Z. The Aleph and the Tav. Turn to Revelation 22:13. In case you missed it, Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. My dear brothers and sisters, I would argue these two unknown, untranslated letters is Jesus. The first letter and the last letter. Why else are they there?
So you can assume then that God the Father Old Testament is the same as Jesus.
Yes.
Just one.
Say again?
God the Father that we understand in the Old Testament in Genesis is the same as Jesus. Meaning because Jesus said that he is the Alpha and the Omega.
Yes.
So it's him.
It is him. Yes. Now, do I need this to prove that Jesus is God? No, but I think it's a unique situation that when you read the Old Testament in its Hebrew, you come across this in the very first line, the very first verse, and there is no explanation by any of the rabbis as to why these letters are put there. They recognize them as A and Z in their alphabet. But why? Why are they, there's nothing to translate. It's just, why? I would say this is Jesus.
Is this in the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Oh, yes.
So when they found those
Yes.
names there.
Yep. It has apparently been there from the beginning. Yes.
John, it's just like I asked last week about chapter 1 in John. So in the beginning was the Word, and that's what God said. Let there be light. That's the Word. Let there be
Yes.
light there.
Yes. And I would argue that this is the Word that was with God, as it says in John 1:1. Now, I'm looking at the time. I'll merely introduce this. We will have to go over this next week, unfortunately. But we mentioned this last week, how John 1 and Genesis 1 have very similar beginnings. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. John 1 begins, in the beginning was the Word. And through him all things were made, and without him nothing was made. There's Jesus right there. And the connection between the two goes deeper than that. What I want to show you next week is how the story of creation that we just went through is mirrored in the first 2 chapters of the Gospel of John. Because what John is saying about Jesus is that not only is he God, but he is the God of the new creation. And he presents Jesus, like St. Irenaeus taught us, as a new Adam figure, recapitulating a new creation from the beginning. So you're going to have to come back next week to hear it.
Just like Shahrazad, left us wanting more.
Yeah!